clinical trials. By the 1950s, researchers were using placebos as a standard tool to test new treatments. To evaluate a new drug, for instance, half the patients in a trial might receive the real pill. The other half would get a placebo that looked the same. Since patients wouldn't know whether they'd receive the real thing or a dud, the results wouldn't be biased, researchers believed. Then, if the new drug showed a significant benefit compared to the placebo, it was proved effective. Nowadays, it's less common to use placebos this way because of ethical concerns. If it's possible to compare a new drug against an older version or another existing drug, that's preferable to simply giving someone no treatment at all, especially if they have a serious ailment. In these cases, placebos are often used as a control to fine-tune the trial, so that the effects of the new versus the old or alternative drug can be precisely compared. But of course, we know that placebos exert their own influence too. Thanks to the placebo effect, patients have experienced relief from a range of ailments, including heart problems, asthma, and severe pain, even though all they'd received was a fake drug or sham surgery. We're still trying to understand how. Some believe that instead of being real, the placebo effect is merely confused with other factors, like patients trying to please doctors by falsely reporting improvements. On the other hand, researchers think that if a person believes a fake treatment is real, their expectations of recovery actually do trigger physiological factors that improve their symptoms. Placebos seem to be capable of causing measurable change in blood pressure, heart rate, and the release of pain-reducing chemicals like endorphins. That explains why subjects in pain studies often say placebos ease their discomfort. Placebos may even reduce levels of stress hormones like adrenaline, which can slow the harmful effects of an ailment. So shouldn't we celebrate the placebo's bizarre benefits? Not necessarily. If somebody believes a fake treatment has cured them, they may miss out on drugs or therapies that are proven to work. Plus, the positive effects may fade over time, and often do. Placebos also cloud clinical results, making scientists even more motivated to discover how they wield such power over us. Despite everything we know about the human body, there are still some strange and enduring mysteries, like the placebo effect. So what other undiscovered marvels might we contain? It's easy to investigate the world around us and forget that one of its most fascinating subjects lies right behind our eyes.
Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear is unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Waharakakadash, that belongs to the elders that remain in the authority and remaining in the spirit of the Lord and cites the election, the real house of David. And, going into the placebo effect, this is basically spiritual power, and that's something that Yahushai showed on a high level. And he said, greater work shall we do. So when you go into the mind, the brain, it's one of the most undiscovered things. Scientists, people of this world, they don't understand too much about how the brain really works and how it does what it does. And when you go into the word spirit, it's going into your mind, your thoughts. And the thing is with the elect is that we have good thoughts. Our mind is washed with the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:1, and our brain has been washed by this word, by the Lord. So we're able to wash others also. And the thing about belief and faith, though guys might act like it's a minor thing, and the Pharisees and scribes, they omit that. That's not something that they omit. They omit faith, mercy, and judgment. But going into belief and faith, this is something that you marvel at. You know what I'm saying? So they had certain studies where they'd give certain people a operation or a drug to heal or ease their pain, but then others, they wouldn't do anything. They just said, yeah, we did the operation. And by just them thinking, having that thought of, yeah, I got the healing, I got the procedure, I got whatever it was fixed. Just by them thinking that in itself caused their brain, their mind to heal and fix whatever ailment it is in their body. See, so that's why they say mind over matter. Our mind, our spirit is over our body. our mind is more powerful than what people of this world really can't understand. And this is why Yahushua and the men of the Lord, they were able to do things that others wouldn't really be able to do, because their mind had been exercised on a high level. There was not much to look at on the outside, but on the inside, man, there was the strongest men ever in the world. Same thing now. And this is Mark 11:24. It says, "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye will receive them, and ye shall have them." So we're believing what we pray for, and guess what? Lord's giving us that, you see. And when you surround yourself with positive people, with men that have the Spirit that also believe, it's actually gonna rub off on you. Like if you surround yourself with someone that's very healthy, then guess what? You're gonna be healthy. You're gonna be around that person, so you're gonna eat the same things. You're gonna do the same things. Same thing with someone that works out a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna rub off on you, and that's what Yahushua, the Word, and the prophets are able to do. That's why some were even healed by just them touching their garment, or even just listening to when they speak. They were healed on the spot. You see, and this is the power we have been given. But the false prophets, they haven't really been given this power, because what the power they've been given is the power of the body, the flesh, you see, which isn't going to profit you anything. It's not going to really get you. It's only going to get you so far. Proverbs 23:7, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." So as you think in your heart, that's what you are, you see. So it says, "Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." So a lot of men's mind and spirit is not with the true elect. Because a lot of guys, they talk about the elect, but they're not really the elect. They hate the elect. They mock the prophets. They mock the elect. And it's really powerful, because guys will be like, "Oh yeah, spiritual power, spiritual power." Well, spiritual power consists of what? Power of the mind. So we already have that spiritual power. So guys, they think that spiritual power is flying through flying in the air, or having razor beams coming out of your eyes, and you know what I'm saying? They think that's spiritual power. That's the carnal power, you see. So first it has to begin within. That's why the Lord said cleanse first, which was within the cup. That's where it begins at first, and then you start to grow there in that aspect, you see. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 12 says that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit, of the mind, of your thoughts, and belief of the truth, you see. And when you go to things of the Spirit, see, we have good thoughts, because that's what goes through your mind. Your mind is always racing. It's always thinking something, whether it's good or evil. So Isaiah 65 in verse 2, "I have spread out my hands all the day unto the rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts." So you have to understand the Lord's thoughts are higher than man's thoughts, are higher than the carnal mind's thoughts. See, a carnal man, they're only thinking about the now. They're thinking about the present. They're thinking about themselves. But the spiritual mind, they're thinking about the future, the near future. They're thinking about the kingdom. They're thinking about their brothers. They're thinking about the elect. They're thinking about their other believers. And that's what we're seeking. We're not seeking our own glory. We're seeking the glory of those that are like us, that are seeking the Lord's glory and his praise. And so it's a very big difference. Thoughts. So we have a good mind. Our mind is and we've been given the mind of the Lord, which not everyone has that. Guys try to act like, oh yeah, the whole camp has the mind of the Lord. And that's something with Cora and Dathan, South Carolina, them dudes from Dallas and GMS and Sakari. They think that everyone in their camp is like holy, which that's not the case. And they're not bringing that righteous division. They just want everyone to stay together. And the Lord ain't going to allow that, like the Lord said to Abraham, he's not going to allow the righteous to be with the wicked once that judgment comes. He's not going to judge unrighteously, where he's going to judge the righteous and wicked together. That's why the separation is happening. Job 21:27, behold, I know your thoughts and the device which ye wrongfully imagine against me. So a form of spiritual power is knowing who your enemies are and knowing what guys are actually thinking, what's on guys' mind, without even coming in contact or having them to speak. You see, telepathy, these certain aspects, these certain powers and abilities that this world won't really like explain, but it's of the Lord. The powers of the mind, you see. Psalms 10:4, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. So the Lord is not in a lot of guys' thoughts. He's like a backup plan to a lot of guys. They have their own thing they're thinking. All right. So Lord has to quicken you so you'll be able to think like the Lord thinks and know what he wants. Proverbs 16:3, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. And what the Lord is thinking right now is judgment, and that's what's being established in the gate. You see? Jeremiah 4:14, O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. How long shall thy vain thoughts lodge within thee? And that's what guys think of. And once they open their mouth, they show what they're thinking of. They're thinking vanity, vain things, empty things, not things of the Lord, you see? And that's why they're not really able to heal others, because they're not healed themselves. You're only going to be able to heal others if you're full of the Spirit as well. You see? Matthew 13 and verse 57, and they were offended in him, but Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and his own house. So the reason why a lot of these elders and camp heads are in such high honors and high esteemed and praise of men is because this is their home. This is their house that they've gone through deceit like Esau. You see? And that's why they're offended at us, because we're not honored here. This is not our home. We seek a city, a continuous city where righteousness dwelleth. It says, and he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. You see? So Lord, he can't do his work, which Lord's work is hidden. It's things on the inside, on the mind. He works on the mind, on the spirit. He couldn't do much works because of their unbelief. So when you don't believe that you can be healed, you don't believe the Lord and his words, he can't do too much. There's not much else he can do but leave you to your own demise. You see? Acts 14:2, but the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and made their minds evil against the brethren. So guys, they're stirring a whole different pot. You know what I'm saying? And their mind is evil and against the true brethren of the Lord, the brothers of the Lord, the brothers of Yahushua. And that's what's happening amongst a lot of these camps. You see? And this is a very serious thing, because if you're still in unbelief and you have no faith, and you wasn't basically given that placebo effect from Yahushua, you weren't really given anything except for the word. The word is what healed us. And we believed, you see? And that's why the Lord said, their faith and their belief made them whole, entire, wanting nothing. We don't need anything of this world or of the flesh. That's why we're not going to sell ourselves short. Mark 10 and verse 51. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I may receive my sight. See, that he could see what's going on. He could get that vision. And at the end, he would be speaking. They'd be speaking the Lord's words with the power and the authority, the spiritual power, the power of the mind, of the thoughts, and the intents of the heart. The word of God, which is quicker than any two-edged sword, which is a weapon. It says, and Yahushua said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Yahushua in the way. So you have to get that sight and that eyesight from the Lord to be able to follow Yahushua in the way. That's the only way. And there's only one way. Knock and it shall be open unto you. You see? So the mind is a very, very powerful weapon. You see? And when you're able to control it the right way, you can move mountains. You can do things that others can't. Though they might be mighty in the flesh, they might have more money, subscribers, so on and so forth. You see, and you're gonna need it for the time we're coming into. That's why when you fast, what happens is you put less trust and less power in the flesh, and you put it all into your mind, into the spirit. You see, and that's what quickens you. That's what makes you be able to do things that carnally cannot be done. You might think a thought, which all our thoughts is of the Lord, and guess what? It happens. You see, so we're basically just by our thoughts, we're moving this corrupt kingdom and government into the sea. We're drowning it. We're destroying it. Mind power. Like certain superheroes, like Magneto's one. Where he can use his mind to manipulate steel, and not just a little piece of steel, but like whole buildings. You see, that's what we're doing. You see, but Lord, when you brothers are edified, I gotta get back going. All praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Keep that heat on, and a Bible ball to the wicked, all the anti-Yahushais. Shalom to the house of David. All praise, glory, honor, and the fear, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The placebo effect. The Lord said the word, and we were healed because of our belief. Not because of no drug or no vaccine, none of that shit. Because of you being allowed in a camp. You see? Shalom. And another thing is, as we're complete, we're full, we're whole, through this word. It was Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12. If it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but that word that restoreth all things. So, we're being restored, the house of David. We're being made whole. We're being made complete and entire in the spirit and in the word. And the word abideth forever. So as that's happening, on another note, you have a lot of people, even in this truth, they're sick. And they look at us like we're the disease, like we're the sickness, you see, because we actually believe in what we can't see. We have that special gift of faith while others don't. So they look at us like, oh, you're crazy or this. So the same things happen with the whole Delta variant shit, you see. But Buzz, you stay strong, because our faith is even our victory. So within our faith lies our victory, which we're going to overcome all these sick-ass, plagued-ass people out here. Now, this is Psalms 41, and verse 5, Sakia 3. The Lord will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, Lord, be merciful unto me, heal my soul, if I have sinned against thee. And our soul is being healed, while other guys' soul is being plagued because they've lost their patience. And it's woe to guys. And their soul's being possessed by legions, by demons, where they're deceived, and that they think that the quantity over the quality makes you a man of the Lord, it makes you righteous, when it's actually the other way around. So guys are totally backwards and satanic. And see, verse 5, it says, "Mine enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish?" So that's they speak against us, because what's on the inside of them is evil. Verse 6, and if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth tattletales. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. Here's a point, verse 8. An evil disease, say they, cleaveth fast unto him. And now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. So, as we're in the time of being humiliated and having, some of us might die, whatever case may be, thrown in jail, so on and so forth, persecution of the saints, they think that we're going to rise up no more. Like when them accusers cast Daniel into the lion's den, when the whole Pharisees church came up against Yahushua and crucified him to death. They thought they thought they won, but really they lost. They're going to catch the ultimate L in this end right now. It says, "Yeah, mine own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which I did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me." So it's guys that we was eating with, we was breaking bread with, that was eating of the Lord's Passover unworthily. Verse 10, "But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up, that I may requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because mine enemy doth not triumph over me." See that? So the ones that are sick as hell, they're plagued. They're looking at the ones that are healed by Yahushua as a plague, as a disease. You see, when it's really the other way around, you have to be able to see which side is which. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom.